What's up, guys? How you doing? It's your boy Scotty here, and I am back. Last week I did a video, my first ever video on the Brisbane Roar, and I got a lot of good feedback, and I thought I'll bring it back. I'll try to do it weekly type of thing, and here I am. I'm back again. So today's video, I'm going to try to keep it a little bit shorter than last time, because the last time I just ranted on, and it was a bit of a long video. It was 25 minutes already, almost half a minute in here, just me doing the intro. But I mean, it's my club and I love it. We're not in the great spot right now. We're sitting second last still. We haven't had the best season, but I mean, I'm here through the thick, the thin, the goods, the bads, and the uglies. You know what I did last time there. You hear me? You hear me? But today's topics that I'm going to be talking about is, obviously, we've had two matches since I last did a video. We played against Melbourne City away, and then we played against Melbourne Victory at home. Unfortunately, I was working last night. Well, actually, this is Wednesday night, so it's going out Thursday. But I was working when the game was on, so I mean, I watched it when I got home. I finished work at 9:30, grinded out, watched the pre-match of the Raw, the actual Raw game, the post-game, the Socceroos pre-match, the Socceroos game, and the post-match. And I go to bed about 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I got work again today. Like, it wasn't until 1, but still, I mean, I was a bit tired, but that's the grind, that's the support, that's the passion, that's the love I have for the game of football. And, I mean, one game I was disappointed in, much disappointed in. The other game I was happy, relieved. And I guess we'll talk about a bit of both, actually, even though this is mainly the Raw. We'll talk about the Socceroos. But I guess what I'll talk about first, anyway, is how we went against Melbourne City. We didn't do a lot in front of goal. We were a little bit toothless in front of goal. I mean, I actually heard on the broadcast before for the Raw versus the Victory game that there was talk of Fornaroli and Taggart switching. I've now come out and heard that that's not going to happen. I mean, I wouldn't mind the idea. I was thinking this actually today at work, that Taggart playing for the Newcastle Jets when Newcastle Jets weren't that good. I mean, this season they haven't been the best, but they've been without a striker, O'Donovan, for most of the season. But in saying that, they weren't the best there, and he was performing very well and got golden boot out of struggling clubs. And I mean, he's doing the same here. If he got some good support and good, what am I trying to say? If he got some good support and then got the balls to him, sometimes he still misses it. Fornaroli, when he gets the service is what I was going to say. When he gets the service, Fornaroli, he usually scores. But in saying that, Fornaroli's been out with a few games. He comes to the season unfit and a bit overweight. I mean, he's worked back on it, and apparently he's fit again. I wouldn't mind the swap. I mean, Taggart will go to a team that's going to probably give him support, and then Fornaroli won't even need support. He brings goals out of anywhere. The only bad thing about Fornaroli, he does dive a bit. I mean, but Bruce dived a bit, and we won the grand final because of it. But yeah, get that into your Perth, or a bit controversial there. But yeah, back onto the Melbourne City game. We looked a bit toothless up front. We didn't really show a lot of intent going forward. We sort of played alright. The one positive from the game was we didn't concede twice, and that's the first time in a long time, and maybe even the season. Actually, no, wrong. But first time in a long time that we haven't actually conceded 2 goals or more in a game. We only conceded 1. We lost 1-0. I mean, in saying that, Richard Delat, a right back playing at striker, and he's still scoring against us, just shows the defence is not the best as where it should be. We did see Luke De Beer come back in, and I was very happy to see him. He played a pretty average game, 6-7 rating out of 10, I reckon. He played a pretty decent game. I mean, first game back at A-League level. He's played Youth League before for a few games, and obviously he's impressed there, but he hasn't impressed enough to come to the team. But now he's played 2 games back-to-back, looking a lot better with the defence. Hoping Papadopoulos comes back soon. Would love to see Papadopoulos and De Beer team up again in defence like they did last season, with O'Toole on the left, potentially O'Toole, potentially Negro. Negro played not too bad at right back on the weekend against Melbourne Victory. Oh, yesterday actually, or I keep saying yesterday, but it's not actually out. This is going to be out on Thursday, but you know what I mean. And against Victory, he didn't play too bad on the right. Played a right when he came on for O'Toole on the left, and then Jack Hingett. I mean, our fullbacks, they're good going forward, but they can't really defend. And I mean, as a defender, that's your main job to defend, and that's how they're getting past us, through our wings, making silly mistakes. Hingett slipping over and Delight getting the goal. It's just silly mistakes that shouldn't happen, that cost us the game. So anyway, enough talking about that. Enough talking about the defence. I would love to see us get our team fully back on the pitch with Mork and Papadopoulos. And Holman's career looks like, honestly, it's unfortunately going to be over. He just can't get back from this injury, which is very unfortunate. And Hingett hopefully should be back soon. I saw a video on his Instagram with his dog today, and he had something on his ankle. And so hopefully that means he's not too far off. But who knows, with the Raw, they say TBC, and then who knows when they're going to be back. But Yeah, so we didn't show a lot in the game against Melbourne City, but I mean, we need to be showing more intent going forward. And I mean, that's what sort of what we did against Melbourne Victory. We lost 5-0, the worst defeat against worst defeat at home ever. We have now consecutively we haven't won a game in 9 games. This is the worst record we've ever had. But in saying that, you think we would have got dominated. We wouldn't have got a shot on target and stuff. We didn't really get very many shots on target, but we had 20 shots in the game, only 6 of them on target. And you think about that, I looked at the stats, I think Melbourne Victory had 13 shots on target or something like that, but they scored 5. And that's not because of Jeremy Young not playing well. Jeremy Young was a beast, he always is, but it's just, they're more clinical. They're like Ola Toivonen, you sign marquees for a reason. You sign them because they're world class, or not world class, but they're a class above everyone else, and they're going to score those goals. They're going to be clinical, and I mean that's what Fornaroli I think will give us. And I wouldn't mind the deal going through for Fornaroli and the Taggart switch. I would love to see Taggart play up with someone, maybe with Wenzel Halls and Taggart up front. D'Agostino played pretty well. Coletti played pretty well. The two standouts there were Coletti, D'Agostino, and Young as well. Botiak had a bit of a quieter game, but he's always gives 100%. But it's just unfortunate because we have players coming through now that are showing their class, but Taggart is just not given the servers that he needs to score. And I mean, sometimes he's given servers and he just doesn't score. Like he stuffs up. But I mean, everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes. But in saying that, if we really want to be serious about next season, because this season's basically a write-off, I can't see us making the 6. Oh my god, I can't talk. As much as I want to say I would love to see us make the 6 and make the finals, this is a failed season. Darren Davies, he's come up and he's brought in a lot of youth. He's made some attacking changes when he's subs. Like I know on the commentary they said one thing that you can say about Darren Davies is he's never very what's the word? It's like he's not very his substitutions aren't always the same. It's always really erratic, and which it is. Like he brings on, I don't even know what he was doing on the weekend. Like he brings on defenders and pushes O'Toole up the field to play 3 at the back, and then he brings on another centre back to play 4 at the back again. It's like, what are you doing, making attacking subs instead of defending when we're 5-0 down? But I don't know. He's always trying to chase the result and get the result there. So I mean, that's always good to see. And in saying that, he's played and I think he's played 5 games in charge now. He's played the top 4 teams out of the 5. So I mean, in saying that, we've had some close games. We've had some washout games like the Melbourne Victory. I mean, I wasn't there, but in saying that, it just wouldn't have been a very good game to be at. It's something else that wouldn't have been very good to see, but also would have been nice to see how it is without the capos. And this is a bit of a controversial one, but the Roar Den has been banned from singing or chanting without capos, without megaphones, stuff like that, because of an act that went on in the last Suncorp game, where the Den started doing a chant, not Priyank, not Jacob, the capos. They didn't start the chant, which is what the Roar people came over to the Roar, the owners or whoever that was there, the chairman or someone came over and started talking to them, saying, "Can you stop the chant?" And Priyank goes, "Oh, I didn't start the chant. The chant started by themselves." And I mean, it's freedom of speech when it comes to football. It's only going to be obvious that, and it just flows out of your mouth when something goes wrong, or you swear in anger or you swear in frustration. This was different. This was the Raw fans, and I mean fans across the league are pissed off at the FFA. One way or another, the VAR makes a silly call. VAR doesn't make the silly call. The ref makes a silly call. The VAR is there not to re-referee the game, but it's there to get rid of the obvious areas and obvious errors. And I mean, it's just causing more drama. I know, I mean, in the Socceroos game, there was a handball against Milligan where the balls bounced up, hitting the arm here, clear as day, didn't get called. But in saying that, a bit of karma came back around when their player tripped over their own player and got a penalty and scored it. In saying that, it didn't really come to the end of the game because we ended up winning the game 3-2, but it made it a very tense last 10 minutes. We'll get onto that afterwards, but yeah, the Roar are just pissed off at the FFA. The league is pissed off at the FFA because they make... The refs make silly mistakes, and I know referees are human. It's obviously going to be just human error sometimes, but in saying that, you've got video evidence there. You go upstairs to have a look at it. You can see what's going on. If it's not obvious, don't change the call. As well as they've told the linesmen, if it's a very tight call, Taggart got put up on this the other day, very tight call, don't pull up your flag, because if you pull up the flag and then the ball goes in the net, You can't go to the VAR and check it, even though it was very marginal. I don't know if it was on or off. It was very close for Taggart, but the ref blew the whistle because the lines put up the flag. But on the replay, it looked very close to being onside. So I mean, the referees. I know a lot of people were saying when you really need to get referees in from overseas, qualified referees that are actually proper full-time referees. I know we've had referees come over from Japanese leagues or other leagues like that and come across, and they look a lot better than our referees do. I mean, Kurt Ames is one of the worst referees I've seen in the A-League. Makes mistakes on mistake. The VAR dude that makes so many mistakes, I can't remember his name, but why is he in charge of the VAR if he's going to make that many mistakes? I mean, everyone makes mistakes, but how many mistakes is it before you get sacked or before you miss a game? I feel like that referees definitely should, like, if they make an error, I mean, judgment of human error and stuff like that, but they deserve it. If it costs a game, like the other day, I think it was Wellington Phoenix or someone got robbed of the game because of one of the calls that the ref made. Oh, it was the Perth Glory game, and the Perth Glory ended up winning that game. I think it was against Western Sydney. I'm not 100% sure, but because of the penalty, it was very soft. It was hardly a penalty, but it got called, and that changes the game because they come down. Props to the Perth Glory coming back from made a massive comeback is what I'm trying to say, and then coming back to win the game in controversial circumstances. But in saying that, the referee was the reason that happened, and if the referee makes a mistake, they should be stopping. They should be given a week off and trying to make sure they don't make the mistake again, and be like, okay, you made a mistake this game, let's just have a week off, get your head clear, try to make sure that it doesn't happen again, and then if it happens again, who knows, maybe another game off. But we just need to get the A-League's referee standard up, and I mean, if the A-League's referee standard comes up, the fans won't be as angry anymore, because that's why the Roar was chanting fuck the FFA, because we were annoyed at the VAR, the referees, and everything the VAR has done in the past that's been bad. We just vent our frustration through a game of football. And I mean, without the Roar fans there, without fans in football, what is football? Like, they're going to be playing in front of an empty stadium if they're not playing in front of the fans. The fans is turning into democracy. Football is my religion, as I say before. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's what I live for. I mean, you can only see a couple here, posters up in my room, up that way. I got a tattoo, a football tattoo and stuff like that. I played since I was 5'6". I'm 20, turning 21 this year. And it's been through my life all this time. I've been a big Raw fan since I was probably, I don't know, maybe 12. So I've followed the club for about 8 years. And it's just, it annoys me when things like this happen. And it's never happened to me. I know active support's dropped out in other teams before, but never I thought would have happened to my team. Obviously, I wasn't a part of the Den when it was the big years when we were there. I came in afterwards when I still went to games, but I wasn't a part of the active support. So I can't really vouch for all three bays jumping up and down, partying all night when we made when we won all our titles and stuff. I wasn't there for that, but the pictures and the scenes and the passion that it looked like from the fans then was just crazy. And slowly, Brisbane and Queenslanders are really like, if we're not winning, they're not really into it. But if we get to grand finals, Suncorp packs out. But where are the fans every other week? I mean, people have work, people have commitments, people don't want to pay every week. But in saying that, there's always the fans there from the Den that was always been there. Always the regulars that are there, buy tickets, buy memberships every year. And I see some of them trying to boycott the Den because of this. Because there's no capo stand, there's no megaphones, there's no capos. In saying that, we've had it before, and I feel like it brings a little bit of a new lease in life to the Den. It gets some more natural chants going. My mate Alfie, he just randomly starts up a chant, and then other people around us start, and then we get quite a bit of the Den down towards the middle front end, and even behind us that hear it and starts going on, compared to more of like a pattern, structure type pattern when it comes to the Den, where we are the River City, Brisbane Roar FC, like go on for ages. Sometimes when we do chants like that, and it is structural, it gets a bit stale. But in saying that, it's football, it's passion. I've been to one game overseas. It was England versus Spain at Wembley. I mean, the passion was crazy. We've had it before in the Den where we have little things on our seats where we hold up all little flags and stuff. But around the whole stadium, everyone had their flag, the England flag, they could wave around. I mean, it's just passion like that. Both ends of the stadium. The Spanish end on the left-hand side of where I was, and then the England end on the right-hand side. Passion from both ends, singing for 90 minutes, jumping around. Obviously, we're not at the football standard of England and Spain, but I would love to see us have some passion and have the Suncorp Stadium like officers or security guards and Queensland Police not get angry at people just because. I know at Melbourne Victory game they said one of the Melbourne Victory fans threw up the beer in celebration. As you do, you've got it in there. You just overjoyed with the goal and throw it up, and then you get in trouble for having a beer shower. It's just like, it's emotions of the game. You can't really do a lot about it. It's not really hurting anyone. I mean, there might be kids there that might get covered in the beer, but if they're in active support, it's sort of like you expect something like that to happen. And I mean, if you're swearing and like parents don't want him to be there, maybe they shouldn't have put him in active support. You sort of understand active support, or you need to understand it before you try to buy tickets there, and you shouldn't get butt hurt or anything like that if you do hear swearing and stuff like that. But yeah, so I mean, the football's not there without the fans, and if they're trying to quiet the fans down for having an opinion, then it's not really very good on the Roar's half. It just doesn't sound like they're happy with the Roar and the active support, and it just seems like it's going to kill the Den off. I'm going to go to the Den. I'm going to be cheering for the next game, and I would love to see how it actually is, because obviously, like I said, I didn't get a chance to go to the other game, but in saying that, I would love to see how it actually goes the next game I go there. But yeah, enough about that, and a bit of the conflicts and stuff that's happened with the Roar and the Den. I mean, obviously, I would love to see the Den get back into it, and the soccer, not the Socceroos, the Brisbane Roar, Suncorp Stadium, Queensland Police really need to get their heads around it. It's football is a passion, and we really need to understand that emotions come out during the game. You might swear, you might get angry, you might throw your beer up in the air when you score, but in saying that, it's a part of the game. You can't really get angry at people for loving the game and showing a passion across the game. That's my opinion anyway. But my last point of this video, and it's getting up to towards 15, 16, 20 minutes now, so hopefully I'll keep this one short. What happens for now for the Roar? Obviously, my big picture that I would love to see for the Brisbane community, football community in Queensland, Brisbane, Australia, I would love to see us move to a boutique stadium. Perry Park would be nice. I mean, it's right near a train station. It's pretty central in the city area or whatever. And I mean, we won't have the issue with the Suncorp Stadium. I mean, it's not always Suncorp Stadium, it's police as well, that we have to abide by the Queensland laws, which might be different to other laws. But in saying that, a 52-seater stadium holding 10K each week, it doesn't look very good. We've seen, like, when teams have played at Cogra or Wollongong or some of the smaller stadiums when they played there, and it's packed out and it looks amazing. I would love to see us play there. I mean, if I've said this before, if we make the grand finals or semi-finals or whatever, see if we can hire out Suncorp, because Suncorp Stadium pack looks amazing, but we've got to be realistic. We're not going to pack out Suncorp. We might get, I think the most we've ever had at a normal game for a long time is 25k, and that was maybe when Tim Cahill came or Honda came or something like that. We had a bigger crowd. So I think between a 20, 30k stadium for the Roar, 15, 30k, about that, for the Roar would be amazing. Just need to like redevelop Perry Park and stuff like that. I mean, it's a big ask, but I would love to see that in the future. Coming in as well, I would love to see a lot more youth get played, as well as us do a redevelop of a team. And I'm not talking Wanderers, get rid of everyone. We're sort of slowly getting rid of the age gap here. We got the Mackays, the Henriques, the Christensens, the Papadopouloses. Jamie Young's not really up there. Doesn't really matter because he's a goalkeeper. You can play longer as a goalkeeper. But in saying that, Mackay's actually surprised me this year. I wouldn't mind us keeping him, but the Christians look too slow. Lopez, I wouldn't mind if we keep him. He's been good in patches, but he's sort of drailed off. Papados, I wouldn't mind as well. Henrique, I wouldn't mind. Colt Hero and stuff like that. But we need to be bringing younger players through, and marquee players that are younger Australian players that are going to be bringing our midfield. Luke Bratton would be one that I would love to see come back. A lot of energy in the midfield. Still playing in the A-League, so it's still affordable for us, and a good player that I see that would bring us our club back to the standard that it should be. And he was there in the golden days when we won back-to-back titles, and we were the Premier. We won Premier's Plate 3 times, Championship 3 times. I mean, I could have been wrong when I said that then, but he was there, and he lives the Roar. Oh, he lives the Roar type of, what am I trying to say? Like, I don't know, but he would be a good player for the Roar to have. But the obvious thing that everyone's mind. What happens to the coach? What happens to the manager? There's a lot of talk about Carl Dodd come in and having players come in after they've actually played for the Roar. I mean, it is good because they know the club and they know what it is like, and it's going to bring back some like Queensland based coaches to the club with Warren Moon, Carl Dodd, and a few other names that he's going to try to bring in with his coaching staff. I mean, it will get rid of Ross Aloisi, which I thought he should have gone with John Aloisi, because they're both as bad as each other. Defending coach there shows why we're leaking goals, because Ross Aloisi is still in charge. Darren Davies, I wouldn't mind us keeping him on to the end of the season, giving him a fair go, because, I mean, you can't really get rid of him now, because top 4 games we played, I know 5-0 last game, we haven't won a game, we've got 1 point in 5 games, but in saying that, how would Aloisi go on? You don't know. No one can know, but I can assure you that he probably wouldn't have played as much youth, and it wouldn't have made the substitutions that Darren Davies would have had to try to chase the game. He would have been like, this is alright, I'll make 1 sub in the 80th minute and then we'll see how we go then. But Darren Davies, as soon as he sees something not going right, he's just like, alright, I need to play. It's time for players to get into the game and try to make an impact and then make like a chance for us to win the game. Like we saw D'Agostino come off the bench, link up with Bociak, put that cross in for us to draw the game against Newcastle. And I mean, like, that's the type of things where, like, Dane Ingham made an amazing run through, passed it to D'Agostino, and then put it into Bociak. 2 youth players that wouldn't have got a chance really under Aloisi, put it into Amaki, which is always going to play under Aloisi or Darren Davies. And I mean, like, Aloisi, if he was still under the helm, who knows what he would have done. But yeah, for the time being, I would like to see us keep Darren Davies on, give him a full rest of the season to see how he would go. Who knows what we're going to do in the transfer window. We've got about half a month left to make a decision, and I was thinking this the other day, what players are going to go into a club when we don't know what manager's going to be? Aloisi could have had some players in mind, and players would have come. Like, Taggart came because of Aloisi, because a striker that he was in the day, he wants to learn off him. Same with Jamie McLaren. Jamie McLaren wants to learn off an amazing striker that was Aloisi. He may have been an amazing striker, amazing player, but being a coach, he has failed as Melbourne Heart, failed as Brisbane Roar, as he sort of took over from Ange Postecoglou and had the team there already. So the first few seasons, you're like, yeah, it's not really his team. He's had 3-4 seasons now where he made his own team, and seeing that he made his own team, we sort of had a downfall in our team, and the position on our ladder eventually led to his dismissal. And now Darren Davies being in, have brought a lot more youth, a lot more passion, a lot more energy to the team, a lot more competitive for positions. Training probably will be a lot more competitive with people trying to get their spot in the team. And I mean, I know Boz has said this before, you can't go wrong when you throw youth in there. All they're going to do is show how they can play, and they're going to give their all. Players like Matt Mackay, which I thought at the start of the season would have been like, I would have said, oh, he just thinks he's going to be in the team. Same with Christensen. Christensen's obviously been out of the team, hasn't played a lot of games recently. Matt Mackay didn't play last week because of fatigue, or last game because of fatigue. But I'm saying it is a big period where the festive football season, there is a lot of games in January, over December, January period, where there needs to be rotation. And I think Darren Davies has done it pretty well. So in saying that, I'm pretty happy with him and how he's rotated the team. But in saying that, it's going to be a big challenge to see us over the next 5 games to see how we go when we play lesser opponents. Mariners won tonight somehow, like they beat Melbourne City, and it's going to be, if we lose this game against the Mariners away next Sunday, or this Sunday actually, we're going to be bottom of the table, and then that's just outrageous. We can't have that happening to us. But anyway, give me your thoughts in the comments. I'm going to be posting this on the Brisbane Roar Facebook page, like Brisbane Roar supporters group Facebook page. If you haven't joined there, there's always good discussions going there, as well as on my YouTube channel. And let me know if you like the quality on this, because Alfie told me, my mate, recording with my phone. I've actually got it sitting up on like one of my little things above my laptop here, and it looks a lot brighter, and I think the quality of my microphone's a lot better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I did try to keep it short, but in saying that 25 minutes it's a little bit shorter. It's like 24 now. So yeah, anyway, this has been Scott. I hope you liked this video, and give me your thoughts, and hopefully we can see some win coming to the Roar this Sunday against the Mariners. And yeah, give us your thoughts, and let's have a discussion in the comments. See you later. Go on, Brisbane.